So this here is the MC2 Aero Deck estate that I've picked up as the donor vehicle for the build I want to do, which is going to be a b18 turbo EK done on a budget of roughly $3,500 is what I want to work to. Trying to make a safe, well-built, clean EK. Now I reckon I could probably do it for cheaper than that with something rougher, but here we've got 140k miles MC2 with a good service history. It's also got a few extra bits on it. Obviously it's got the 282 brakes at the front, 262 brakes at the rear. Loads of bits and bobs I can sell off of this to add money back into the fund. I paid $19.50 for this. The spec of this vehicle, it's on some like cheap coilovers. It's got a full stainless exhaust front to back. Obviously it's got that all-important b18 C4 engine. Runs and drives really good, no problems. Well, that's a lie. There's a few problems, which is what you'd expect for a cheap 1950 car. So, engine management lights on due to the decat, or so I'm told. Rear caliper on driver's side is sticky. Okay, not the end of the world. And then just a few other bits and bobs around the car. But for a donor, it's exactly what we want. A nice, clean, healthy swap. Driving this car, drove okay. It was sort of all over the road. You know, when you try and gunned it, it would try and pull you into the nearest tree. But again, because we're just going to be using this for the swap and then selling off as many bits as we can, this doesn't really matter. You can see here the effects of that stuck caliper. It was super, super hot. Passenger handle also broken. Doesn't matter. Here we are, starting to clean up the bay. Just give it a nice little clean and a pressure wash before we pull it out so we don't get too dirty. Just trying to avoid all the main bits, all the electrics and stuff like that. I was just trying to clean it up as best I could so it wasn't filthy dirty to work on. Ran it for another 20 minutes, 30 minutes after that, just to dry it all out and make sure it was all nice and healthy still. Now, obviously when you're pulling a B swap out, there's obviously a specific order you probably should do these things in. I just do whatever I fancy. So I jacked it up, whipped the wheels off, removed the drive shaft nuts, just because they're a bit tricky once you remove the calipers. And then started pulling off bits and bobs. You know, you need to disconnect the wiring, clutch line, throttle cable, shift linkage, pull them shafts out. And then basically it's time to remove that engine. So here you can see I'm just pulling off all the different bits and bobs and getting it ready to come out. Trying to keep it as complete as I can, because if it comes out complete, it's all simpler. It's not going to be like looking for bits when I'm putting it back together again. Now I could pull off the full hub swap off this car as well and use that on an EJ9 and have that big brake conversion, but at the minute with how I sit, I'm thinking I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna sell that to add some money back into the budget. All that's going to be coming off this car for me is that main engine swap and the front calipers, so we can do the big brake upgrade on whatever EK or EJ9 we get to make a nice sleeper. As much as it would be nice to have them big brakes all round, it would be converting an EJ9 to 4x114, and then I've got to run MB6 wheels or some other type of wheels, and it would suck a lot of money out of the budget. It would take a lot of time, and then it's not really a sleeper anymore, in my opinion. That's what I really want to build. I really want to build a nice, clean sleeper, you know, that people can punch around in, have some fun in, you know, 350 brake horsepower, something unassuming. You know, what these days can you get with 350 brake for $3,500, which is the budget here. So as you can see, while I was doing this and stripping the car down, I did find a few interesting bits on it, like hard race camber arms and full stainless exhaust. So whip them all off to either sell or reuse. 1-inch master cylinder, that's come off as well. I'm going to use that. But I could only strip off so much off the car because I had someone who wanted to buy the rolling shell, and I didn't have any like rubbish EJ9 4x100 suspension to put on it or anything to replace them coilovers. So they have to go with a shell, whatever is what it is. I just picked off the sort of stuff which I thought would sell on eBay well or is easy to keep. I took some pictures of the service history before it went with the shell that sold, just so I know what's been done to the engine. It's had Exidi clutch, camber, water pump, dowel pins, some seals here and there. So it looks like it's been really well taken care of. And it just means I can look back over this just in case I'm not sure about some stuff in the future. But now it's time to look at the budget. And obviously this is going to change throughout the episodes of this as more bits get sold and stuff like that. But paid $19.50 for the car. Sold bumper, 100 quid, mirrors, 50 quid, like an inside door handle, 15, headlights and bonnet catch, 40, and the rolling shell went for 400. Now this is excluding eBay fees and postage and stuff like that. I've already taken that off the amount, so that's the true amount of what I got there. So that engine swap has cost me $1,345 plus the ECU and the other bits that I've got sitting in the garage now still to sell. So I've got $2,155 remaining. Now initially, what I definitely need to get this engine ready for boost and ready for fitting, so I may as well do it outside of the car, is ARP head studs, some sort of clutch, AN fittings to weld to the rocker cover so it can do the upgraded breather so it doesn't, too much crank pressure. Sump fitting for the drain, because obviously I'm going to need that for the turbo. And then service items, so all of the gaskets to reinstall, the rocker cover, the sump, all that sort of stuff. So they're the first bits I need to get.